Fendi, like a button, touch a button, we can start something. Why you frontin'? Acting like a main night, whipping up a main, called you for one thing. Yo, what's really good though? It's your girl Yezzi, Yezzir, and you are tuned into another episode of Trendy Talks. Whether you're watching it or listening to it, I hope you can enjoy this episode because it's going to be a very informative one. And I'm here with a special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
I'm Deborah, CEO of Future Group.
Okay.
And I specialize in business management, finance and law.
Okay.
Matters, and I do one-to-one in helping people develop their business and form a kind of dignity for themselves.
Good to know.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Fantastic. And before we move on, I just want to shout out to the sponsors of this episode, Oxford with Love & Co., making sure they got me in the finest fabrics all year round. So shout out to them. So just changing the mood. Today's episode is about what's going on in Nigeria currently with the hashtag ENDSARS movement. So the first question I wanted to ask you was, what's going through your mind right now and how do you feel about what's going on in your home country?
It brings me back to years and years ago, more than 50 years, more than 50 years ago. With the Civil War, and thinking, have we really recovered from it? Have we stepped forward, or have we made steps backwards?
Okay, so you mentioned the Civil War. For those who don't know, that's the Biafran War. And you were actually there as a young child. So seeing all of that, I know that's quite graphic, and you're going to have to pull from somewhere deep to remember what went on back then. But if we fast forward to now and what happened on the 20th of this month, October, at the Lekki tollgate, correct me if I'm wrong, and it's now been dubbed on social media as the Lekki Massacre, which rightly so, considering what went down. How do you feel about that?
First of all, before I start talking about Lekki, just in Lagos alone, Lekki was not the only place.
Okay.
There was another spot called Tollgate, the place, the route leaving Lagos to go into the other part of Nigeria, whether you're going to the east or west. On that side, there were youths there. They even had more that happened there than even Lekki. So I want to do justice to that because everybody is important. And other parts of Nigeria, even before that day, a lot of people have died because whether directly or indirectly, as soon as that protest started, there have been killings before the lake. So everybody needs to be remembered.
Of course.
But personally, I watched that, I saw it live. Because no matter where you are, your heart is, with your people. When you have that love for your people, and even for everybody deserves a decent life.
Yeah.
But watching that film that night, it just took me back to being a child and having to go through the Civil War, which we say the Biafran War. Because I have personal experiences here trying to recover from, no matter how we suppress it, it's still there. And watching that just took me back, and seeing those children, those young people protesting with love for their country, with not being, adulterated by the adults using, for the first time, they are not being, using tribe, religion, none was there. They are not even having to look up to anybody. They say they have no leader. It was the same all over the country, no matter what people say, not to everybody, because one thing people don't understand, that this is between the rich and the poor.
Okay, so you feel like what's going on right now in Nigeria is a matter of classism.
Yeah, it's classism.
Just to put it into context for everybody so they understand, the reason why the youth in particular, everyone but the youth in particular of Nigeria are protesting against what's going on right now is because of SARS. The acronym is for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. It was founded in 1922, and they were originally placed there to actually help the people of Nigeria against things that were going on at the time, whether it be robbery or kidnapping. Unfortunately, their purpose hasn't been fulfilled at all. And for the last how many years, they've actually been plaguing the people of Nigeria, whether it be through extortion, kidnapping, robbery, rape, unlawful arrests, which have been targeted towards the youth. So fast forwarding now to 2020, where it's not been the first time that people have said, you know what, end with SARS. We're tired of them. What happened with the protests, and a lot of people, particularly in London, were happy about at the time, was that it was announced that, you know what, we've ended SARS. But if you look at the, you know, this not the actual statement that came out, and I'll put it up for people to see. It said that SARS as a department has ended, but the same individuals have been redeployed into different departments. And obviously anyone with common sense would know that that's just not good enough. So when you heard that SARS had ended, what was your opinion on that?
I just knew that it was just ended just to announce it. They are not even redeployed anywhere. And you saw it. What they did, they gave it another name spot.
Oh, it's got another name.
Then, you know, and they said they're not buying it because they know these are politicians that have lied to people for years. It's just telling them what they want to hear for that time. And once everything is down, everything and move on. Sometimes I used to think, are we dementia or what? Because we tend to forget and we tend to move on. Oh, we don't want trouble. We all want peace. But a peace that is based on one person being suppressed is not really peace, you know? And these people are used. They are thinking, what future have I got? You know? And sometimes, I'm not saying it's been, the badness goes on and on and on and gets worse. For me, at my age now, I feel that I have a lot to give for what I gained in Nigeria. Because when I was younger, I was in secondary school. There was no time anybody called my parents because I have to be in hospital. I got free medicals. I got free prescription that when it's given to you, just go to the chemist in the hospital. That was the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in
Nigeria.
In Nigeria, in the eastern part. Okay. You know? For me, I witnessed when my younger was given birth to, it was free in the hospital.
So now in Nigerian hospitals, they charge for services?
Of course, they charge. Women die if they don't have money to pay for their medical.
Wow. So
going through, the students got bursaries in my time. Okay. You know, when you're in high institution. The only reason I paid for school was because I was in a boarding house, and it was just 65 naira.
So what would 65 naira be today then, if you were to do the equivalent?
It's not even up to £1.
Wow. So let me ask, because you're talking about your generation.
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it was better then. Do you feel that, okay, it was better then, and technically the age of the people ruling Nigeria now are around about your age range. Do you feel that, and I'm sorry,
or even older anyway, because they are recycling them.
Okay.
So I wouldn't just say my age alone.
But within your generation, sorry to be so blunt, but do you feel that your generation failed the youth of today that are being killed?
Yes, in many ways. In so many ways.
In what ways?
I would think they didn't give more directions. I would think they didn't give quality. Because it was like, okay, if I have the money, throw my child in school. There wasn't that actual directions of training. Because at the age of 13, for me, you know, because I have always said it, that no society, for me, can strive without the micro industries. Look at places like Japan or Germany here.
Okay.
You know, they have micro industries. At the age of 13, I was 12, yeah. I was already writing invoices in a warehouse that my father owned. So
Okay.
I'm taught to make money. In schools, we were doing the first aids. We were handling our kitchen. We were running our things.
Okay.
Under 16. So people are not taught that. It's either you sit there because maybe the society is focused on providing job for the adults that children are not taught.
So what do the youth of Nigeria, what is it they don't have right now that you feel like they deserve to have?
Basic amenities in life.
Like what?
Not asking for too much.
So I don't forget to be in the
Not asking for too much. Okay. Electricity.
So working electricity.
Yes. Yeah. Water works. I was reading they have a minister for water. No water runs.
Okay.
It's a luxury now if you get to any school and they have water, which will be borehole. The government is not providing anything that the government should be providing. If you provide what you need to provide, then the people, it's not necessarily that the government have to create jobs, but they have to create the things that makes jobs work. Okay. You can't have a factory and you need a generator. You need to build your own borehole. That is basically nothing that the government is doing. Then you are thinking of the roads.
Okay,
the cars just spoil nothing. The government is not providing anything they're supposed to be provided.
So you've mentioned the government. There's a few names floating around right now, being your Buhari, the president, Tinubu, and Babajide. So with these three individuals, do you feel when it comes to responsibility and accountability, these are the three main people, or are there any other people that you think?
There are lots of them. Right from the civil service, I've gone almost around look at places like Italy, when they have a president or whatever that's not doing well, they don't wait till the next election.
Okay.
They get the person out. But everything works. I've seen the interior of that country and things are working. There's nowhere you won't see electricity. The same way when I went to Israel. But the thing is that the civil side, everybody is corrupt from the top to the bottom. So
what needs to happen with Nigeria then? What, with the Nigerian government and the infrastructure it has today, what changes need to be made for better Nigeria?
We need to be selfless. We need to feel each other's pain.
So how do we become selfless? What if you could change the face of the government right now? What type of infrastructure does Nigeria need?
For me, everybody have to stand up and be responsible because it takes bad people to elect bad leaders, criminals. People need to stop, people need to respect people for who they are and what they can do, not just for money, because we don't think, where is this money coming from? For example, if you look at this protest, because everybody is now talking about properties that was destroyed, which I am not in support of.
Okay.
If we thank God for this world now that we have social media showing us everything, it was the officials that first went to be buying talks.
Okay.
To turn this thing into, look at the way they are using the word hoodlums for their own people, their own children. They went to buy these people to go and obstruct the protest, a peaceful protest.
Okay.
You see, it's like when you unleash a dog, you don't know what you're going to get out of it. Because nobody is saying this now. People are just taking things from the top. They're not taking it from the roots and say, oh, these people are vandalizing, which I'm not in support of because it's our own turn.
Okay.
Now, when that didn't work, before this shooting, and when you have parents who are lying, everybody is not taking responsibility
lying
for the shooting.
What?
About the shooting. It's like they want to say maybe it never happened. Nobody wants to say I gave the order. If nobody actually gave the order, then we don't have security. And that's one of the things that the government should be providing.
It's good actually you mentioned about the lies because a lot of people were not impressed with what the president had to say. And he said a lot of things, and people felt
empathy.
That's another thing people talking about. There was no empathy. He seemed almost lifeless. And one of the points that he brought up was that, and another person from a military background said that it was photoshopped. What you're seeing online never happened. So when you watched that speech, what was going through your mind?
The lies. We tell so much lies. And when you tell people lies, you're just displaying your stupidity, and you're just looking at the other person too as a stupid person. So it's like we do not have respect for ourselves. You know? And it's like we can easily forget. The problem is that we like to move on so fast. I'm not saying dwell on problem. I believe in solution to problem.
Yeah.
But if you must say something, start from the roots. The problem started when the talks were paid to obstruct the destiny. The problem started that these politicians or leaders created those talks. Those are the people they use for their elections.
So who are these thugs you're talking about in particular?
I wouldn't even the underprivileged children, the poor, the children they create poverty so that they can use them when they want to use them.
So would you say classism is a grassroots problem in Nigeria?
Yes. People intentionally create poverty so that when they give these people a piece of cake, throw them some bone, they could fight themselves over it. And these are the people they can bring to obstruct anything good thing going on. They have no education. All these things they created. There's no free nothing.
Okay.
But before, the churches even owned the schools. You know, the old churches, not the new one, owned the schools. But what did they do? The government took the schools from the churches years ago. Took the schools from the churches and brought them down because the politicians were building schools and the top pastors were building schools. Because what happens in Nigeria, once you see a new thing, you destroy the old. That's what they do. Growing up, we used to have cinemas everywhere, each area, you know. But immediately there's the theater built. Now, I don't know if we have landline, Nitel. Because immediately the mobile phone comes, you kill the old one. But everything should incorporate. That is how people move on.
Okay, so I'm not... say to just play devil's advocate for a moment now. Nigeria, some would consider, is still a very young country. We're talking about 60 years being independent. Now, coming out of colonialism, Nigeria was given their independence and not the best of states. Do you feel for the 60 years you're asking for a lot, or do you feel that more is to be expected at this point in time?
Nigeria was even before people like Dubai and all that, because it's like we dwell in mediocrity. That's what it is, because we should do more. For thinking we do a little thing, we believe, yes, we've done a lot. We should do more. And sometimes when people have a lot, if the people have a little to share together, it turns them to hungry dogs. I personally believe that people could love each other if we have our own spaces each. And when we come together, we come to rejoice. It doesn't mean, because we are in a global world now, even if we have different countries or whatever within that, we will love each other, because we will just come, what do I get from you? What do you get from me? And we are happy than saying, I love Nigeria, I love Nigeria. And we don't love each other, because I haven't seen anybody really saying, I am proud of British, I love British, but they love each other. Okay. Because there's no need if it's like a woman, I'm telling you I love my husband, is that got anything to do with you? It should be two of us telling each. Why do I need to convince you if I do that? That is when you know a place that is failing. Okay.
So going off that point, you're talking about the outcome of these protests. And I just want to take a moment as well to give my condolences to the families who have lost very, very brave individuals who are protesting for a change in Nigeria. Your efforts will not be wasted. Your blood will not be in vain. And I want to let everybody out there, all my brothers and sisters in Nigeria, to know that the momentum, let's keep it going. And we are doing all we can to help. Now, coming to the outcome of what I'm calling as a Nigerian revolution, what do you think the outcome should be with these protests?
The outcome goes beyond SARS.
It goes beyond SARS. Okay.
Because in Nigeria, you could be living in London. Can you imagine that officially? For example, and you're the mayor of Manchester. You don't know the people. Okay. They don't see you. You have a gate, you have security, So you are governing people that you don't have any relationship with, you don't relate with them, you don't care about them. Yeah. I've seen somebody who was a state governor somewhere else. I'm not going to mention them, Nigerians we know. Okay. And he's proud to tell somebody like he is He's a Victoria Island boy. So you were a governor where you do not even feel you belong. You could be living in another city. And whenever you're filling a form, they want to know where your parents, where is your origin. Maybe your grandfather is even the one, you've never been there.
Okay.
And you call yourself the same. That's not working. Somebody shouldn't be a local government chairman in a place.
Yeah.
And you are living in Scotland, and you're a local government chairman in East London. It doesn't make sense.
So the people need clear leadership, transparency in the form of honesty.
Yes.
That's what's needed.
Autonomy in your own place. You could make your own decision.
Okay.
And then, because what is happening in Nigeria is every year or whatever, they say they have their federal allocation. So people sit down. The governments tend to want to manage everything. They are like children that will never grow up. Even when you have your farm, you don't manage it. The government is managing it. And they pay them every year. So people relax and just share the money. But if you tell somebody, this is your area, this is what you are good in, this is what you provide at a particular time, to the states, then when there's a major project, the state will look at it and do it fine. You have roads that the state government will say, I don't have the right to do it. It's federal road. And the government is not do it. Everything is modeled up because
it's a mess.
They are biting more than they could chew. For example, I was talking to somebody who is in her 60s, 70s.
Okay.
And we're talking about how Ghana has light, Ghana has this. And I said, why can't that be in Nigeria? He said, no, it can't be in Nigeria. Nigeria is too big. Then if it's too big, why did you model them up together?
So what do you want Nigeria to be like? Because it seems like we're going into a kind of geographical area right now. What are you saying now? If Nigeria is too big, what's the solution, in your opinion?
Yeah, because it's different people modeled up, but not that they can't love each other still. They are all in West Africa.
So from a geographical standpoint, what is it that you think Nigeria should be then?
I believe they should go back to who they were as ethnic people, the same culture, the same language, because language is an identity.
Okay.
It's an identity. Language is an identity. And if that is there, then people will not feel that they have to live like dogs, rushing for one thing. You know what I mean? It's like somebody, if you have, for example, let me give this analogy. You have 9 children, 10 children, and you put food for them in the same plate. Yeah. That's going to be trouble.
Okay. So we're dating back to colonialism. You're saying everyone should stick to their areas, whether it be, I don't know, geographically or tribe-wise. Some may be watching or listening and thinking, oh, she's sounding a bit tribalistic.
No, I'm not being tribalistic, because we could still love each other. I mean, for me, I was born outside my own distance. So if they say true Nigerian, that geographic part, fine. But what I am still saying is, if a mother puts food for the children in one plate, there will be fight because they're struggling for one thing.
Okay, so based off that analogy, you're saying that if there were clear divisions and clear jurisdictions in Nigeria, people can choose the type of life they want to live and not be, like you said, jumbled up.
And you can live anywhere. We are in a global world.
So does that mean there'll be still one president or different presidents for different areas?
They don't even need to use the word president. Most of the places there are peace now. You don't look at those children marching. There's something we need to learn from them. Okay. You ask them, do you have leader? They tell you no. They can call it administrators because this big name, because my people say that big name kills a dog.
Okay.
Or there's the word president, this ministers. You know what they have here? There are countries that have directors. There are countries that are called chancellors. They are working fine.
Okay.
Because all this, you notice all the African country, everybody, president, they're learning from America. No, this big name gets people gassed up. Sorry. You don't even need. There could be administrators, directors, even chancellors. Use a name that can mellow you a bit because things happen according to name.
Because this is why,
yes,
if I'm
the children say
wrong,
we don't have leader. We are the people. I heard one of them saying the people we are going to send to be our delegates are going to be called messengers.
Okay, rightly so.
Even Christ is a servant.
Yeah, servant of the Lord. Yeah,
give a calm name. Because there's something about people who are not used to something and having to see it is get to them. Like in my culture, if it dates back, we have council of elders, like that kind of thing.
And for those who don't know, what is your culture?
I am Igbo.
Okay.
I'm Igbo. Because sometimes name can really gas people up. You know what I mean? And cause trouble. Maybe we can't handle that word president. Because every African country president. We don't need that.
Am I wrong for saying that Nigeria is under a dictatorship? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes, because of the so much power that is given to one person. And I believe anything that's happening, people say, let's wait till next election. Look at because all we need to do is once we can get our administrators fine, our civil servants, if we get it fine, the country will work out well.
And when is the next election for Nigeria? 2023?
2023. But there are countries that they are working, you will see light, you will see this, and yet they don't wait the election. If somebody is wrong, you're off. Okay. You know, I must sound to, you know, you don't go, everybody have things that work for them. You look at your people, you don't go and take somebody's constitution. And we need to write our constitution that suits us.
From scratch. From
scratch. We are not going to think of America, because nobody gets it right.
Yeah.
We have to check if I look at you, what culture do you have? Just like the English language, there are many languages that added to make up the words. If I see what good in you, I take it from England. I see what is good in US, I take it. You know, you don't just leave somebody's. People are different. It's like a woman going, oh, this is what works in this woman's house with the children. I'm going to bring it into my children. Even all your children, you can't relate to them the same way.
Yeah.
You can't. If not, you'll be bringing up zombies. You have to find what works with this child, what's work with this child. And that's how you get the best of people. We need to learn to get the best of our people and use them well. Because a Nigerian leaves Nigeria and he does better. But he's in Nigeria, he can't do anything better.
So I've always grown up, and sometimes you meet people from Nigeria and they say to you, oh, you know, you need to take your skills, bring it back to the motherland. Do you think that's needed?
It's needed if you have a playground for that. But
there isn't one now.
As it is now, you don't have a playground for it. There are places in Nigeria that people we build solar and all that. They want to maybe for the whole state. The government will tell you no. The government keeps you where it wants to keep you. I'm
so
sorry
there's
to
no
say
freedom
that.
To even grow.
You don't have that playground to really express yourself, which this is what all the youth is fighting for. I just think that ENDSARS was the beginning, because you need to be alive for that to be done. So they need to end what is killing them for them to even expand to do something. It was just the beginning of many things that went wrong. But we have to begin to tell the truth, because just as you have the hoodlum, I'm not going to call them hoodlums, these disadvantaged, impoverished people that they are using to fight against their own fellow youths that are trying to protest on ground. We still have the social media impoverished as well, who think they're educated. Young people that went to school that they are using to write the wrong things on social media, the mindset, brand, maybe somebody wants to say the truth, you know, things like that, that they are using to walk to, the warfare going on social media.
So you're saying, based on the points you've mentioned in regards to they need to rewrite their own constitution, there needs to be different jurisdictions, you're essentially saying that Nigeria as a whole needs a whole reset in order to move forward.
Yes. And when I was growing up, we had what they call trade centers, where if you like to be a mechanic, instead of you go to trade center, you learn.
Do people not still learn a trade?
There's no trade center. It's just individual trade. The government has to call trade centers that you go to learn. You know, we had commercial schools. We had, you know, so because you need people who are actually learn a trade is very important.
To help with the economy as a whole.
To help with the economy as well. From every sector, we are all useful. Now, when I go home, when I first came here, I get a plumber. I say, oh, these plumbers are useless. In Nigeria, they have good plumbers. Now, you can't see anybody that really learn a trade and knows what they are doing.
Okay. You speak a lot about back home. Do you ever regret leaving Nigeria?
I don't regret it. This is a home, and Nigeria is still my home, and I'm hopeful that, you know, we will have that thing that we have a sense of. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it will not be fake. I call it fake love. There are things, because things it's one-sided. All of us have to benefit and have the sense of it and have that what I'm putting in, I'm getting it as a person from my country. If you live in a home and your mom treats you differently, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to have that sense of belonging. You are going to voice out. Even if you keep quiet for ages, they say for the sake of peace, it's going to be bubbling up. It's either, God forbid, the day the mom dies, you try to disconnect with all your siblings.
So why did you come over to England then?
Before I decided to stay, I've been here, before, and I preferred, Lagos, I went back. But if you as you grow older, like when you are young, you live in a bubble. Recently, they said all Nigerian youths glued their eyes to Big Brother and all that, maybe to distract them. They even try to give them free cable or whatever for a while.
As a means of distraction.
As a means of distraction. But as you think things are getting better, but you see that things are getting worse, And you get to realize it as you grow older. The teenage age is gone. When you are just thinking maybe your parents give you, you're okay. I came here in my 20s. But as you get older, you know that Nigeria was getting worse. You could see it earlier. And some people could see it later.
Okay.
And, to better myself. Because it got to a stage you looked, this is not working well for me. Because I grew up in Nigeria when we had... different ports. We had the ports in Lagos, we had in Port Harcourt. I don't know whether we had in Calabar. So everybody was able to, if you can maybe import. I'm not saying that importation is all that good, but we had factories. There are towns that we had factories. We had factories and people who could import, maybe a little import. But now, it's like one thing is given to one person alone, and you just start hearing millionaires, billionaires everywhere. The more you talk about one billionaire, more people are poorer. So
the gap between the rich and the poor is getting bigger and bigger.
Even in the whole Africa, because you see one person might be in charge of one thing that it's now in hands of very, very, very few. It's not a spread wealth.
Okay, so the country as a whole isn't growing.
When I was growing up, Mercedes was being assembled in Nigeria. Volkswagen was being assembled in Nigeria, in Lagos. Janiki area. Mercedes, Volkswagen, Peugeot in Jos.
Okay.
Even John Major worked in Peugeot in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But now, I know, yes, there's a few things wrong with it. So it is where, some people could recognize it on time. Some people, it takes time to recognize it.
Okay. So, this brings me to my next question. So online, there's been a petition, UK-based petition kind of going around. It's got, at this point, over 200,000 signatures, if I'm not wrong, about having England come in and help out with what's going on. Yeah. What's your opinion on Western intervention on matters in Africa?
We've already believed that they created Nigeria.
What the way it is?
Yes, I'm not saying they could be there as a support, as friends. Let's just say that.
Okay,
if
so
they want to visit that, the
one.
same way they come when we say we are doing our elections, they could be there. But you need to ask us, because some people, the problem is not even the tribal, because we're doing it. Everybody that is, achieving, because we are a selfish nation, I should say. Whoever is benefiting from this now doesn't see anything wrong in it.
So what do you think about Western intervention in Nigeria?
The intervention, we don't need any more war. We don't need that. But we need to sit down and face the truth. And stop putting food in the same plate for 10 children, for example.
But what do you think about Western intervention in the matter that's going on right now with ENDSARS in Nigeria?
They need to say the truth. Everybody needs to report the truth. And they can sit down.
But what do you think about, for example, England or America coming in to intervene with what's going on right now in Nigeria?
It depends on the intervention. We don't want any war. It's talking. saying, okay, this thing is not working.
Mm-hmm.
We have to change it. We have to now put separate food for these children. I'm not saying we are children. It's just an analogy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And different plates.
So
because it's not working.
But what I'm saying is that, do you think Western intervention is needed in Nigeria?
There's no way we can do it without
You
them
think,
seeing, because
so what role do you think any Western country should have with this? Because from what you're saying it's more of a mediator type of thing.
Yes, a mediator.
So you think
not to be one-sided, not to be biased, because when
do you think that's possible?
Seem they are keeping quiet, they are being biased. You know what I mean? So open mediation. Listen to the people, not people who are gaining from that position. So when you want to have representative across the border.
So let's just say England decides, you know what, we want to help out Nigeria. We've got a relationship with Nigeria. We're coming in as a mediator. We've heard both sides. What kind of application do you think?
Let me tell you, we don't want the kind of division that is done in some countries like South and North Korea. We don't want the kind of division that is done in India and Pakistan. Okay. That's not what we want. We are a global world. And for the fact we waited this long to get this thing settled should make us settle in a civilized way. I repeat, we are in a global world.
So for someone that's been through the war, the Biafran war, the same England was there. Nigeria, we've got ENDSARS going on right now. England is seeing it. They're not blind. Do you trust the same England that you had to watch the genocide of your people to now come in to help with this situation? Do you still trust them even from a mediator standpoint?
Yes, because we ourselves, we could be biased. But as a mediator, not just them.
So then they're coming in as a mediator. Who is going to do the application?
We want the modern kind of separation. I'm not saying separation that we don't love each other. I'm not saying separation. Europe has tiny countries, but they love each other.
Okay, great. You wake
up. The kind of way it is in England, the way they have these tiny countries that you can go to Belgium, Paris, Holland in one day. This kind of separation, but still there is love. It doesn't stop anybody.
Is it still going to be one flag?
No, it's not going to be one flag.
So different countries.
Different countries, but with love, because it's not what you say, I love Nigeria with your mouth. It's the love you have for each other.
Okay.
I keep saying this. When you start putting food in different plates for children, they love each other more than when they feel that we have to struggle for this food in one plate. I'm sorry to say that.
That's fine.
You know, that's all I'm saying. And it does not, you will see that we have much love for each other.
When there's room to breathe.
Yes, because we have nothing we are fighting for again.
Okay.
We have, then this person in the state will not say, oh, look at what's happened with these palliatives that they are finding everywhere in the states. It's like the whole leaders, they are the same people. You see?
With what, sorry?
The palliatives, the food they are finding in warehouses.
Oh, okay, that incident.
All the leaders, there is no exception.
So,
they are all doing the same.
So just to give a bit of background on that one, there was a large amount of food given during the height of COVID. It was given to who in particular?
The possible leaders for each state.
Okay, so each state, they were given...
North, west, east, everywhere.
They were given food to hand out to the people. It was recently found as a video...
which will expire in December.
Okay. Which... There's a video circulating right now on the internet where people have broken into this warehouse and found food that should have been given months ago
to them.
And people are not happy at all. They're sharing it out amongst themselves.
But do you know what the Eastern ones say? Oh, they say, it's from the North. They didn't give us. They are giving themselves.
Okay.
And maybe a few people they were giving the North. But they found out that the whole state, North, East, West, they all did the same thing. They hoarded the food.
And this is the greed
this
that
is
you're
the
talking
greed.
about, and the
this
fake
shows
love.
that it's not just the cause. But if you now have your own people, for example,
no actual leaders.
If you are middle belt and your own middle belt person is ruling, we have our own country. For example, that middle belt person will not say, "Oh, it's the person in the Asa Rock that didn't bring the thing." You can't hide again, because this is what they've been doing. Then you will be hating the person in Asa Rock.
Okay.
But it's not going to happen again when we all have our own.
So just,
you will be accountable. I will find you accountable. And if I deal with you, people will not say, oh, you are doing this because this person is from this other country, this place. Your people will, but if it is us, ourselves, we can deal with it, and nobody will say it's because you are from somewhere else. Because that's the problem. People are dancing out of things. Oh, you did this now. You are very serious about this particular politician because it's not from your place. Or you keep quiet. Let them not say our own people are bad while the person is killing you.
Okay, so to just hone in on everything, because you're giving us a lot of information, just to break it down for people, what you're saying is that with division in jurisdictions, it will bring transparency.
Yes.
And people, leaders of different areas, can't now rely on others to kind of go into cahoots with them to basically lie to the people.
Yes.
Okay.
And we don't want division of animosity. We don't want the kind of division they have, like, I will repeat that, in India, and we want a modern division.
Yeah.
Because the world is a global village. This division we want is due to administration.
Okay, so
that's the kind of division we want.
No leaders that can abuse their
power.
That
manipulate.
Okay,
because
so,
the way Nigeria is now, we call ourselves one country. I will relate more to a Ghanaian. We have no animosity towards a Ghanaian, a Togo, before even a fellow Nigerian. I'm giving an example. I don't have that kind of mind. I believe in human, I love everybody. We are all human beings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if we don't have anything, we are struggling together. We don't want, it's division in administration.
Okay.
Understood. It's not division and the soul that we hate each other, so that people can be held accountable without using the religious card, which we have as well, or you playing the tribal card. You know what I mean? It will be division in administration, so that people can be accountable, so that I can reach you. That is why I want my local government chairman, somebody who lives in my village and I know that person. I want the king in my village not to be the king that lives in the city while he's saying he's the king in my village. Things like that needs to be changed.
It will, definitely. Hopefully that can be a matter. So just to hone in with everything, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
We feel like at this point everyone's got a lot more context on what's going on with Nigeria. And just to round it up with this segment anyway, for anyone that's outside of Nigeria that's thinking, you know what, I don't know what I can do to help out with the situation going on right now, there is still a lot you can do to help. You can amplify in the sense of using your social media platforms. It doesn't matter what the size of your following is. Retweet, share, what's going on. Bring awareness to what is going on with the injustice in Nigeria. You can donate. I will be putting links in the bio section as to the legitimate places that you can donate money to help the people on the front line that are giving medical care, legal advice, helping the young ones out there. And even I've seen grandfathers out there as well protesting. So that's always beautiful to see. Watching things like this to educate yourself on what's going on, and protesting not just in Nigeria, but there's protests going on in London, in America, different parts of England, different parts of Europe, just to show your solidarity. Because trust me, those who are responsible for what's going on right now see it all. They're feeling the pressure. So like I said, do not let the momentum slow down. But now, you're here on Trendy Talks. I can't let you go without taking part in our rock and drop segment. And I had to specialize. I had to go way back. I had to go into the vault to make sure I had something for you. So just bear with me so you can see what's going on. So like I say to all my guests, rock or drop is the segment where I give you two options. If you had to, in this day and age, choose what you're going to rock, I've given you hairstyles now. You got to choose one that you're going to rock. You're going to choose one that you're going to drop. So I'll put them on the screen now. Let me show you right here. So the two options are, we've got the Jericho. You might have sported a Jericho yourself back in the day. And we've got the infamous, welcome to the Thunderdome. It's Thunderdome?
Thunderdome.
Welcome to the Thunderdome hairstyle sported by the legend that is Tina Turner. So here are your options right now.
I love Tina Turner, but I don't think I can walk around with her hair.
You can't. You don't love her that much, then.
I love her. But this is the hair I had in the 80s. Yeah, that was me in the 80s.
I got the decade right then. Woo.
Longer than that at the back, but that was me.
So what are you gonna rock? What are you gonna drop?
I love Tina Turner, but I'm gonna drop it for a while and go for the younger me.
So you're dropping Tina and you're rocking the Jerry curl. You're playing it safe because you've already sported it for a couple of years before. Okay, great. Well, is there anything else you want to say before going? You've been my most heated guest so far. I felt it.
I'm just going to say I'm just an ordinary person. Maybe it's high time we start listening to ordinary people that we are not paid to, be biased online. Ordinary people with their ordinary feelings.
Yeah, the life stories to give.
Yeah, the life story, because all this brought me back to my younger days. And we should try not to make this turn into another tribal war.
Yeah, of course. And I know you have a consultancy business, True Group Consultancy.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
They can find me on my website, which is ochugroupconsultancy.com, and they can find me on Facebook, Ochu Group Consultancy.
Okay.
And on Twitter with my name, Debbie Bayoku. And you can find me on Instagram.
Cool. So you're all there on all the social media platforms?
Yes, and I have a book coming out before Christmas, possibly. It's Several Means of Income, just to teach you on how to have your dignity. I'm about good economy. I'm about people providing for themselves and possibly teaching their children. Micro-industry is what I advocate for because it helps create a society. Great.
Thank you so much for being my guest. I don't know if I should say thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Ma. I don't know.
Whichever one. Yeah, but just encourage the ordinary people to, their experiences. It gives a better picture of situation.
Definitely will do. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Can I get a certified nudge?
Yeah.
Boom. You survived Trendy Talks. Cool. Well, it's your girl, Yezzir. You are listening or watching Trendy Talks, depending on what you're doing. We're out.
Yeah, I'm trendy. Yeah, I'm trendy. Brown like Fendi.